one of a kind.
It's a big family.
It's kind of like a Shriners convention, except people wear tie-dye instead of funny hats.
It's more than just ashes when your dreams come true. One of my dreams was to go to Europe, tour with the Dead.
One of the best parts of the tour, of course, was that Phil wore our shirts in Berlin for both nights.
Europe is Hamburg at 3:30 in the morning. 400 people trying to get aboard the train to Amsterdam. People shoving people through the windows.
You never can tell who's at a Dead show. I met my lawyer at a Dead show. I like this.
This is beautiful, but it's been logistically it's been a nightmare and financially because we didn't expect 3,000 to 4,000 heads on tour.
When we left, we were talking, how many do you think will go? We said, 300 to 600
600
tops.
heads, maybe 1,000, maybe, And there's just so many of us, and we all want to go to the same destination on the same day. And logistically, that's just, it's full hell, But everybody's working it out, and okay.
Friends missed the plane over yesterday.
Really?
And now they're like, there, in Amsterdam, that's the transfer?
That's the arrival.
Well, I got off the plane with all my friends who were flying out from a different airport than I was. And I waited with them to get our luggage, and everyone showed up except mine.
My parents, mother and father, were not very happy in the beginning about it. They made some comment about me tracing around Europe with the Dead, and they're pretty sketchy, about me doing this. But as it, became more official and everything, they got more excited about it, and they were very supportive.
There was only about 2,000 of us starting in Stockholm. We hit Paris, almost doubled, I would say.
My uncle lives at the hog farm, and I was dragged to shows when I was little and didn't really care. And my grandmother's been to shows. It's really definitely a family thing.
For me, is I have my major place to be is usually wherever the next show is. Outside of that, I just go. I just usually just scatter. I didn't know I was going to grab this train. I came down to the station. I got out the hotel. I came down to buy some more patches for my jacket, And I saw a bunch of other friends, and I said, hey, where's everybody going? And they said, well, we're going to go down to Paris, or some are going to Amsterdam, some are going to Paris.
Well, traveling on the train is it's really excellent because, it's the love train.
Yeah, man, it's the tour bus. The train came by and we got on.
All right.
A lot of people go just to party and for the scene, but I think for people who've come this far, the music really means a lot to them, especially the people that really travel for the music. And that's what feeds a lot of people spiritually, and that's, I think that's what sort of keeps me going as far as dancing and touring. It's a real American thing, really traveling around a lot, and and being at different places and sort of going for the moment wherever that is. And I think that's one thing that keeps the Dead experience unique, is that everybody's always searching for that moment, that crystal moment where they're right there with the Dead and they're feeling the music.
I don't know, it's good because it's a, alternative lifestyle. It's something where you can get away from society and get out and be with kind people, people who everyone loves everyone, and you don't have to, try to hold up some sort of image, It's a lot more than just the music.
And I turned 21 in prison, joined a life without parole. No one could steer me right. Mama tried, mama tried, mama tried to raise me back, but a bleeding I denied. That means only
I don't know. What was so special about it that made me go in the first place? I just kind of knew that I should go because these guys were. I'd been listening to albums for years, and then I heard a tape. I finally heard a tape, and it was really different. And I figured this is what really music is supposed to be sounding like. It sounded like the music was in my head, so I figured I better go check them out live. And I think the thing that most impressed me was I was unprepared for Phil Lesh. I felt like I could reach up and grab a chunk of the bass and stuff it in my pocket. It was so tangible. And I had to go to RFK the next day. There was, no doubt I had to go. I met some Germans who were actually heads, who'd seen him in '72, et cetera, or had been to the States and had seen a New Year's show, this kind of stuff. Most of the people, though, were going to see the American legend, They heard about it on the TV or the radio or whatever. They figured they'd go check it out.
But there was in Sweden, we met a guy who said he'd been waiting to see the Grateful Dead for 21 years.
Yeah. In Sweden, we had a lot of bad press before we went there, and so I think that they were probably scared of us, if anything.
And justifiably, well, not justifiably so, but I can see where, the newspapers are putting out all this
horror
wrong
stories,
information, and, that's all they've got to go on. They don't know us.
I think also being Americans in a strange land, is enough to kind of throw people together and stuff. It's so obvious who's ahead and who's not, when you're walking down the street or in the Bahnhof.
Tell them about the kid.
Oh, yeah. The one scary story we heard was everybody said, look out for Amsterdam, because it's just, derelicts and it's vagrants, and just, we checked into Hotel Kabul. Is that it? Kabul?
Yeah.
And there's an American guy who was just touring around. He wasn't ahead. He's not affiliated with the tour at all. And he said the worst story he heard was a guy who woke up in the Amsterdam train station bleeding a little bit and all sewed up, and someone had stolen one of his kidneys. Some back alley butcher had stolen his kidney and then re-sewed him and everything, Poor John. That's like the scariest. The only personal weird anecdote was during Dark Star the other night, German guy, like halfway through the jam, turned to me and says, "What is the name of this song?" I said, "It's Dark Star, man." "Oh, this is Dark Star." It was pretty interesting. He turned and told his friends, and everything.
For the birds and the bees and the words are singing, something in the air and a different tune. Well, it's old as the hills, new as the meaning of love. Love's lucky like a gold town moon.
Yeah, I think it's ancient. I think it's tribal. Somewhere way back, we all belong to the same tribe. All these people were all tribal. We played drums at night, and we danced, and we woke up singing, and somehow we all got separated. And then with society building up, we all got mixed up, and now we're just all finding each other again. Someday it's just going to be a strong enough tribe that we're gonna come back and really produce.
wouldn't happen at a train station in the States, I don't think.
They want to know what the infatuation is that to travel 3,000 miles to see the Grateful Dead. They can't understand what our infatuation is with them and why we're here and why we spend all this money to travel to a small town like Essen to see the Dead. They just can't contemplate. They can't seem to understand that, but change some minds.
Much American ethos. With this music.
I can understand a little bit what he's saying. He was just asking me what everybody was here for, and where all the Americans came from. Basically, that's what he wanted to know. That's basically it.
Yes, but I didn't come to see Grateful Dead. I came to see my grateful sister-in-law.
Lost love down in the ground.
What I'm doing right now is I make bandanas. Like I told you before, I have a job and everything. In fact, I make pretty good money. I do this for fun. For example, the Swedes were all over these things in the middle of the night in Stockholm. I was really tired, and the Swedish girl I was hanging out with goes, "Hey, why don't you sell bandanas?" And I'm like, "No way, I'm too tired." She makes me open up my bag in like the middle of the street in Stockholm. It's freezing in Old Town. I'm laying these things out, and the Swedes, it was like a feeding frenzy. It was pretty weird.
They're the highest quality cotton. They're totally trippy too, like under a black light.
It's really clever. Like I was talking to this guy, and he wants to make a shirt that says the streets of Rome are filled with rubble, and he wants to have like a Roman landscape and like all these Barney Rubbles in it. That's pretty funny. I kind of like that.
This piece is a mandala that I tie-dyed, and my attraction to it is the movement that you see when you go to the shows. The pieces literally float and move, and when you take your eye away and look back at it, it's still got that motion to it. And that's what I first saw in tie-dye that I liked, and that's what I try to recreate in my own work. I think some of the artists are really inspired. They take time to make their work really nice and sharp and are really creative. I think there's a whole nother pool of people that are doing it for money and taking borrowed artwork, and I think if you look at the work and look at the price, you can kind of tell what's what. You know, there's obviously people need to make money, and that's one way they can make money, and then there's a whole other group of people where money isn't really the question, it's just what they're trying to produce.
Yes. Now everyone's been a bit shocked by the credit cards.
I took this picture. They're all identical shots, basically from identical days, Saturdays in Berkeley. See Jerry aging in front of you. I had to lay out the money first. The pictures will compensate my costs, hopefully, when we're done. It's interesting, however, I thought I'd meet a lot more Europeans, and this is the thing I really wanted to do, is meet the European Deadheads who've never seen the Dead before, not meet up with people who I know all the time or see on tour all the time. That's fun and everything, but I mean the real fun is meeting people who are fresh to this and who we are fresh to.
Full Dead, live in Berlin, featuring Bruce Hornsby an den Keyboards. Freitag, 19. Oktober und Samstag, 20. Oktober im ECC. Präsentiert von Radio for You.
Good. This is quite a difference. I was here in 1983, and I was right on the other side of the wall, on the other side of this building down here. Quite different. It's just a dream to be in here. You would have been shot if you were in here, because there was no paint on the wall here. It was all white.
I don't think we realize where we are, because I see Germans, like older people coming here, and they're like real smiling, and you can tell that it's something where that they've never been able to go, and now they're here, you know, they're able to be here.
Steamboat went to heaven. I used to do them on work. Oh, you do? I get paid to do this.
I got the map here. We're here. We stayed here.
See how
Border's
east
right
that
here.
is? It's east.
That
was in East Berlin.
All the same size, same color. Just row upon row of these things.
Here comes the dawn. Here comes the dawn. Oh, and she had her feet firmly planted on the loving ground. Though in her mind will she often flow. Oh yeah, and she knew herself and can't be taken away.
The phone rings, and I get up on the phone, I'm like, who is this? I'll be sleeping. This is Bob Weir. I'm like, it's Bob Weir. You guys, this is Bob Weir. Get on the phone, I go, what are you doing? He goes, well, I'm looking for a bicycle pump to go pump my tires on my bike, and I'm gonna go for a nice ride down Stockholm. I was like, cool. He goes, huh? We're going to a party today. It's a local Grateful Dead party at this record store called Peppers, so everybody's supposed to be there.
Wow, das zischt. Grateful Dead heute Abend wieder im ICC und natürlich auch ab 19 Uhr im Big Beat auf 98.2 Radio for You mit Helmut Heimann. Da wird dieses Konzert live übertragen. Grateful Dead heute Abend.
Don't be afraid of your freedom.
You want some wall?
A piece of the wall.
2 for 3 marks.
What are they?
Postcards. Right home.
Oh, this is hemp. This is everything you should have been taught in school and more. It's like the best person to talk to this about is Captain Ed, my partner.
Now, 1 acre of marijuana produces as much paper as 4 acres of trees. It's a biomass, which means it's an annual renewable crop, and you're making methane out of it, which you can convert into gasoline, which goes back into the environment because you're growing it. It's a new source of energy instead of using fossil fuels that don't go back into the environment for millions of years. So if we make paper out of marijuana, and we run all of our vehicles on marijuana, end the greenhouse effect instantly, just like that.
No, Grateful Dead, actually, I think many associates that with Metallica and stuff like heavy metal, actually. And it's actually about another thing. It's more like your back years thing. It's a back years thing, and it's more peaceful. But okay, some of your rumors has been around from American concerts. That's true, about drugs and shit like that. Yeah, but not that much exactly.
Is this your first time?
Yeah, it is. It is. I hope it's not the last time.
In Berlin the other night with the Dark Star was amazing, you know, right there in the middle of Berlin, in front of 4,000 people. To me, was what I came for. I wanted to see the Dead perform in a small situation like that.
We know, we're studying German, we're just blowing your shit.
All right, thank you. ICC is pretty much a very sharp tourist spot in my book today and yesterday. And we're on to Frankfurt tomorrow.
My first concert was October 14th at the Warfield Theater in 1980, and my parents took me, and they did an acoustic set, 2 electric sets, and let me just run down the second electric set. Scarlet Begonias, Fire in the Mountain, Estimated Prophet, Terrapin Station, Playing in the Band, drums, space, fill solo, space into I Need a Miracle, into Uncle John's Band, into Playing in the Band, reprise, Morning Dew, Good Lovin'. And then 2 encores, and they passed out champagne to the entire audience, and they had a big cake for the band. And there was posters galore in the lobby that said I could do this a lot more. I could do this for the rest of my life. This last year I worked a full-time job, saved up enough money to come on this tour. Now when I go back, I don't know how I'm going to wrangle money to come on the summer tour. Supposedly they're supposed to play Europe in the summer, and that's going to be tricky. But I'm not going on the tour back west when I get home. You know, so sometimes I can't afford it. I look at it now as more of a social thing. It's more of a like, you know, here we are with all our friends, and here we are in Europe. You know, the music is great, and when you get 10,000 people focusing on one note, it's really special. I don't think you get as much focus at a Grateful Dead show as you get any other shows. You know, you go to another concert and people talk all through the songs, and yeah, that happens at a Dead show, but not as much. I think it's a real attentive audience. I think they're really putting a lot back into the whole scene.
Good bombs.
Bobby, where is Lazy Lightning Man?
Being from Santa Cruz, living on the beach, you know, it's absolutely normal. And the Germans, man, they probably think, you know, seeing these people just as strange as seeing us, you know. In my first concert, Fullerton County Stadium when I was 8 years old. My aunt got me into it. That, the Tubes, Eddie Money.
Born in the desert, raised in a lion's den. I was born in the desert, raised in a lion's den. Well, my number one occupation, steering from the
I met Jerry today.
You did? Ooh, you lucky.
I was going to ask him directions to the Birkenstock store. I was like, where's this place? And Freddie goes, oh, let's ask them. And then Sharon's like, that's Jerry, that's Jerry.
Oh, wow.
I met Jerry today.
Hey, there's an interesting story for you.
Not really. Well,
Actually met him.
Yeah, but
There you go.
It was kind of neat. I took a picture with him. I said, can I have a picture with you? And he said, step away.
Past the middle of the tour, and I'm under budget.
Yeah.
stealing women from the men. Yeah, I'll do it again.
I don't know. A lot of people are probably drawn to the musicians themselves, but I think it is the music that perpetuates the real positive feeling that goes on tour. Like Branford Marsalis said in his interview, that the Dead is really, it's not an entertainment icon like a lot of other American entertainers are, like Madonna, say. They're really entertainment oriented. The Dead are very musically oriented, and that is what blew Branford Marsalis away, according to his interview, is that musically they had it so right that it was really a self-perpetuating kind of thing.
I think looseness is the key in it all, you know, that it's the loosest band happening. They can stretch things so tight, and then they can pull them back together. Stretch them out this way and pull them back together. They're constantly, it's constant tension and release that they're working with, and I don't think there's another band in the world that can do it like that.
Yeah, certain songs like Play in the Band will click me into an instant mental signpost that I've stuck up years ago. It's like Berkeley '83, when I finally figured out what Play in the Band was. what I believe it to be. And every time I hear that song, it's like, yahoo, we're in for some really good jamming, and my mind's going to go some places. I'm just going to let it go with the music.
We're at the Wembley Arena, thankfully not the Wembley Stadium. And it's the last show of the tour, or last run of shows of the tour. Tomorrow's last night. It's been great. I must admit, more fun has been had being on tour than seeing the music. For me personally, I've had like more fun hanging out with people on trains than I have going, wow, Jerry's really great, you know?
My name's Michael, I'm from Manchester, and I'm selling tickets for the Grateful Dead. I've not been able to sell any yet because all the people are sat down, they're so stoned, they're so drunk they won't buy anything. There's a lot of people turning up without tickets. They don't want to buy tickets from me because they think that I'm a scalper, which I am.
How much are you charging?
250.
I'm the ghost of Christmas house.
Well, the Americans are quite polite, actually. It's nice to see polite people at this venue. You know, usually they're very rude, but the last couple of days have been, you know, quite nice to speak to. Please and thank you. No problems at all.
As I say, they're just all good humoured, all come for one thing, and that's the music. And at the end of the day, all right, we get paid for it, but we come here to have an easy life, and it's just great.
The old flower power, yeah.
If and when the band stop touring, that's the only thing that scares me. Is because how will we all get together after that? The focus isn't just the Grateful Dead, and that it is each other, and that it is all of us getting together at one time, and that we can say, okay, once a year on Jerry's birthday or something, we'll all get together. You know,
I've been into the band for almost 20 years, and 20 years so a lot more people have been introduced to it. And these touch of gray heads, or in the darkies as a lot of people call them, it's like, can you blame them? I mean, we were that age once ourselves.
Somebody was asking me, well, what do you think of all these young kids? You know, I mean, we used to be able to come to a show at 10 minutes before the show and pick up a ticket, and now and these guys are coming around here drinking, they're all heavy metal. Even if they're coming and doing crack. It's my responsibility to show them there's something else to do. I've had fun here. And it's not mine any more than it's theirs. It's our responsibility. So I was 48 years old in Berlin, dancing with the dead. You know, damn near half a century. And I feel better now than I was at 16. And if it hadn't been for people my age teaching me what they'd learned in 25 years on the road, so I wouldn't have made it. So.
I don't think it's really taken effect on the rest of the world yet. I mean, definitely not. I hope in 20 years the significance of the Grateful Dead will be the important thing that it is, that it's a bohemian culture that should be brought up, or that was brought up out of just artistic, creativity.
The lesson will be that it wasn't just the music and it was the people, and that it will keep going as a scene. You know, it won't be focused on the Grateful Dead, but somehow we'll all get together again.
First day in Paris, finally got my luggage back, so I had clean clothes. Although I did get
Why do you keep wearing the same dirty ones?
Did get a cold. They lost my sleeping bag. Missed my flight, but I'm on my way now. Pretty good. It was a good tour though, anyway.
I'll be back on a ferry to France, and then I was stuck with. I was stuck again in a country that didn't really want to help me out very much. And I spent 3 days in an abandoned train station. But I showed up, missed Halloween, and made it back for the last show. It was fucking, it was great. It was quite the adventure.
It's just great to be back, but if they decide to go to Europe, well, I might just have to do it again. I don't know, maybe a different continent this time. Maybe go to Thailand or something. China. Maybe not.